All right. So it's the new year.
Yes.
Do you ever make New Year's resolutions?
So I no longer really do.
Okay. Have you ever?
Yes, I used to, but I feel like they didn't work well. So something had to give. But actually, funny enough, I feel like it's not even just New Year's, but I am, I am a pretty determined person and decisive about things.
Yeah.
But I would be so extreme, I'm gonna do this. And I was just always, it was always I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna drink all the water and exercise all the time and I don't know, the house is gonna be perfect.
She does exercise all the time.
Yeah, but I would just have all these
the grand visions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then stuff happens and it's too much. But funny enough, I feel like I did have to figure out, so this isn't even just New Year's, but I had to figure out what worked. And even with a changing schedule, but also I liked different things, and I feel like it worked from a physique perspective, doing different things really worked. So I'm so glad we did this because our brand has helped me stay in shape and helped me stay consistent, helped me not have to make these New Year's resolutions. It's become my lifestyle.
Yeah, it's not it's January, better get back on track. It's just kind of part of your life.
Yeah. Now I treat January a little bit more okay, the holidays, they were busy and there was a lot going on. So let's calm it down a little bit, maybe be a little less scheduled, even though there's a lot going on.
Right.
But, maybe not do as much on a weekend or what have you, more just kind of getting back into normalcy versus...
Get back into your routine.
Yeah, versus all these hefty goals.
Right.
How about you?
Yeah, I feel like I was the same way. Before, now I like to make goals and things, but before I would just kind of make a resolution. I would just be very vague, I want to sleep more. And that's the end of the story. But
that sounds so nice.
It sounds nice, but what does that even mean?
Right, when are you going to?
Yeah, how am I going to do it?
Yeah, what is going to stop you in your day-to-day? Yeah.
So I think that is often, they say that, I think it's some statistic, of the 40% of people who make resolutions, only 9% feel successful in it. And I think a lot of it has to do with people they're vague and they're kind of general with their goals. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to measure such a vague thing, or it's hard to keep track of what you're doing.
Right, and if you're just saying, I want to sleep more, and then have no plan, then it's okay, well, I know I wanted to do that, and you're a month later, and you're I'm not, and I'm exhausted, and whatever.
And then someone's asked you later on, were you successful? And you're no, I'm still tired.
And then you get defeated.
Right.
Because we talk about that a lot with people, is I feel like they are we always say, ease yourself in, get into it, and make it manageable and measurable, and you can do little things, because then you're ooh, I can.
Right.
And you start getting this motivation to do more, or to make it part of your routine even more so than going all out, and then you miss, and then you're feeling defeated.
Right.
So a few tips that you can incorporate that aren't New Year's resolutions. It's more, if you have goals, if you have things that you want to accomplish in the new year, how to go about them.
Yeah.
So one would be the why. Why do you want to why do you have this goal?
Yeah.
And writing it down. If you, for instance, want to sleep more, which frankly, now that we're putting it out into the universe, I also would like to. So we're
gonna be taking a nap.
We're actually
gonna
everyone will come into the studio. You're on one couch and I'm on the other, just out cold. It's our New Year's resolution, and we're sticking to it.
Yeah, we're just working to this.
But the writing it down, I think it would be, why is sleep important?
Yeah.
Is important, so we are productive, so that we get rest, so that we can, be at peak performance. Right. And also I probably could turn things off a little bit earlier at night, and settle down a little bit more.
Yeah, shut down.
Yeah, and maybe wake up, even if I'm getting rest, but wake up a little bit earlier when no one is, and I get a few things done. It almost, I don't know, could work in the reverse way too. So I like that. But writing down, I think acknowledging why.
Yeah, because then you can go back to it and remind yourself, especially when it gets tough, when your goals get tough. Because they will. Things will come up, and there's always obstacles that come in your way. It's nice to have that in the back of your head. Say, this is why I'm doing this. And I feel like that sort of leads into the second tip, which we say this often, but I think it's really important. And honestly, you can make a resolution. You can call it whatever you want, but I think it needs to be smart. And like they say, to make the SMART goals, and they're specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're relevant, and they're time bound. So if you're going with, I want to get more sleep, you have to make it specific.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to get at least 8 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah.
And it has to be, so you have to be able to measure it. So you have the time. It has to be attainable.
Like, can you actually?
Can you do it? Does that make, do you have a newborn at home?
And
you know, maybe it's not necessarily attainable.
Yeah.
And then relevant, same thing. Like, does this make sense for you? And then time bound. So you can even give yourself a goal. Like, for the month of January, my goal is at least 5 days a week to get 8 hours of sleep or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and then once you get that goal, once you pass it, you give yourself a nice little reward.
Yeah, and acknowledge it. Like,
Yeah.
I actually, I think I've been saying this, which is funny because I've just been saying it, so clearly it hasn't been accomplished. But for the new year, I would like to take, you know, a few more like lower impact and just be more like a little bit more mindful.
Okay.
And so I just want to incorporate like either another bar or another Pilates class, whether I'm taking it or teaching it,
Right.
into the week. And
Okay.
that's very, I feel like that's a simple, it's attainable, like it's measurable, it's once a week.
Yeah.
It's not too much. And like, I want to start in January. I want to do like in January, at least for
There you go.
the first week, and keep going.
Yeah, I love that.
So I just think it doesn't have to be so like intense either, or, you know, extravagant.
Right.
It's just like, okay, I want to take a lower impact class more frequently.
Oh, I
So,
love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
So hold me to it.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then the third little tip that we have for keeping those resolutions, or, you know, to keeping your goals, is to share your goal and grab an accountability partner. Because the studies show that if you share your goal with someone else, and if you have someone who's there to help motivate you, you're way more likely to do it than if you're on your own.
Yeah.
And that's a big part why we do group fitness.
Yes, I feel like you feel supported. You're also telling people, so you feel like accountable to them. They also feel like they're like a little bit part of it. Like, they want you to see you excel and succeed, and so I think it's really important, and just kind of putting it out there. I feel like, you know, it's sort of like writing down the why, but it's like you're putting out the reason, and you're going after it, and you're showing your progress, and it is helpful.